we're going to record the modeling of the IIDA, what is this? Commercial Interior Design Association, blah, blah, blah. 2020 student competition, student design competition in both SketchUp and Revit. So here is the floor plan. We're going to copy these files to the network so that the recording doesn't slow down. Here's the floor plan. We're not given any elevation drawings, so we're going to have to improvise it, but I'm going to guess, right? How can we figure out what the floor-to-floor height is? We might be able to infer from this drawing if we count the number of risers. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 24 risers. It appears to be a perfect scissorback stairs. So 24 times 7 is 7 times 20, 140, 7 times 4 is 28, 168 divided by 7. I can't do that without a calculator, so I'll have to pause this and find my calculator. So that calculation is 14 feet floor to floor. Let's start it in Revit, and then let's do SketchUp first. Why not? Start SketchUp. First thing you do is import your AutoCAD file. Normally remove this individual just so that the drawing lines up reasonable position from the origin. Let's go to a plan, top plan view, and change camera to parallel. You're always going to want to work with parallel projection when you're doing anything that requires any kind of measuring, any kind of metric. So I'm going to go over to, I'm going to work directly from my Saturday student archive, Saturday. Sorry, it's here. So we're going to change this to AutoCAD, select this drawing, import it. Usually you can use the default values and it'll import directly in the model space, right? So the first thing you want to do is look at your layers, and then there's no reason to keep the AutoCAD layers, so I would delete them, move them to a current layer, create a layer for this drawing, call it AutoCAD underlay. Take that and move it to the AutoCAD underlay layer. That way you can control visibility. So let's measure the thickness of these walls. I'm going to ignore that it appears to vary. So I'm just going to take the thickness that this looks typical. 111.5. This is 9. perfect drawing to 11.5. I don't know what that half inch is, but a 2-foot wall is going to work just fine here. So I'm going to outline the drawing in plan around the perimeter of the walls. I'm skipping, you know, the indentation of those windows have sills that appear to extend beyond the drawing, beyond the perimeter. Now, what the heck is going on over here? Let's just go straight across. And some of these windows are recessed a bit. Some amount of literacy in the part of architectural drawings is assumed here. So if you don't understand exactly what I'm doing, brush up on architectural drawing conventions. Remember, I've decided on 2-foot wall thicknesses. So I'm going to take this shape, right? Let's turn off the AutoCAD underlay and use the offset tool to move it inwards 24 inches. 24, look at the control box, right? So that's going to be the shape of our, I'm going to cut this shape to the clipboard. We may be able to use that as a floor. So if I go to isometric view and generally want extrude that to, we've decided floor to floor height is 14 feet. 14 feet, enter. AutoCAD underlay. Style, change the visual style to X-ray. There's that drawing so far. That's part one. Now we have columns. Don't be confused by the enclosure for these steel I-beams. All you need to modify is the columns. Presumably, if I go to a top plan, presumably there are corresponding pilasters or structural vertical elements that exist in the walls, right? If I were to open the AutoCAD drawing, so I'm going to have to do outside of the virtual desktop because AutoCAD will crash. It ought to display a column grid. Again, we don't know how this drawing was curated or assembled. When you import into SketchUp, many annotations disappear, so you have to examine the AutoCAD file directly in AutoCAD to understand what's in that program. Well, I suppose the PDF should have displayed that information as well. It's taking some time to load. Well, now that we have it open, let's go to the folder, double-click the drawing again. Right? Well, it was not created with the student version. Fine, open it. There should be grid lines in this drawing, and well, so let me just quickly use the line tool to show you where they belong. So from the center point of these objects, we don't, and then horizontally. So we're going to have to save this file out somehow or other. Horizontally again. And I'm going to trim these lines. Let's change the layer to a grid layer will normally give us. We don't have a grid layer. Let's just change it to that layer. And color by layer. Select these lines to color by layer. And switch them to columns. I'm drawing another line to trim. TR, enter, select this, enter, and then TR, trim to that, enter, and select these guys. One more time. TR, enter, enter. AutoCAD is not what it used to be. Is that layer locked? For some reason it is locked. You would never know to think of that, would you? Line, okay, line again. TR, enter, and then trim these guys the long way. That's our grid. Right? Not very elegant, but that's what it is. So in Revit, we'll place that in there. We're going to save this out. Save as. Save it in an older version of AutoCAD, like 2007. See what I'm doing here? Competition. So we don't confuse with anything else. We may use this again, but we can also develop those lines in the program we're modeling in. So let me close this out. Select that drawing, copy that. Oh, we can find it from desktop. There's the drawing we just made. I'm just going to copy it down so we have it just in case. This is taking a bit long, so I'm going to stop there. But before I do, go to an ISO view, triple click the walls that we just created, make it a group, make group, create a layer, exterior, and move that group to the walls exterior layer, and save the file as handouts. The folder that this lives in, IIDA 2020 competition lesson 1 SketchUp. And we'll save the video under the video of the same name.